So you're looking to set up a WordPress website and don't really know where to begin. What's the actual first step to setting up one of these WordPress websites? What's up there, guys? Is here once again with Do It Yourself SEO, where I help home service business owners, contractors understand the internet, search engine optimization, and show them how to build their own websites and do some of this stuff on their own. And on this video, I'm going to talk about WordPress and setting up a WordPress website for the very first time, the actual first step that you need to take when setting up a WordPress website. I get this question a lot, so this is why I wanted to make this video very specific to make it easy to understand. Usually, when I create my content and when I try to explain these things to people, I try to explain it to them as if they were sitting across from me right here. Explain it in simple terms so that you can understand. Me coming from a background as just being a truck driver, delivery driver. I, when I started to learn this stuff, it was really, really complicated, and I wish somebody would explain to me in very, very simple terms. For example, setting up a WordPress website for the first time, I'd go on YouTube and look that stuff up, and it'd be these monster tutorials on how to do this. All I wanted to do was, how do I first set up the site to begin with? I mean, where do I go? What do I? That's the very, very first step that I needed to do. Well, to explain it, I want to share with you guys exactly what exactly WordPress is. Anyways, I think WordPress started years back, and people used to create blogs. This is like 10, 15, 20 years ago, probably 15 years ago. People would create blogs using WordPress. And what ended up happening, just from what I've learned over the years, is eventually WordPress kind of took on a life of its own. People started building websites on WordPress, and it became very, very, very popular. From the last I checked, somewhere around 40 to 50% of the websites online are built on WordPress. And I know that a lot of people go out there and build websites on WordPress. And me personally, I wanted to do WordPress. When I first started out, I used stuff like Weebly and things like that. I always wanted to do WordPress, but it seemed complicated. But now that I've learned a little bit more about it, it's not that difficult. So the very first thing you need to do is understand what WordPress is. To me, WordPress is like the iPhone. Just like smartphones are everywhere now, right? I would say probably 50% of them are iPhones. The vast majority of people have iPhones, and this is just what we've been accustomed to. Same thing with WordPress. There's a bunch of places where you could get a website built, Squarespace, Wix, all kinds of different places out there. But a lot of people gravitated and go with WordPress. It's just where people go. And this is where I like to build websites. And they work out really well for SEO. But what I try to tell contractors and home service business providers is when you go get your iPhone, for the most part, you really don't go into the iPhone store to go get your iPhone. You usually go to your service provider or a service provider. You usually go to the AT&T store. You usually go to Verizon. You go to the T-Mobile store. That's where you go get your iPhone because that's where it provides the service for that iPhone. So in a way, that's how kind of WordPress works. You purchase WordPress through a service provider. You don't really go to WordPress.org and set up a website on WordPress, that whole website, that whole system over there. You go to places like Bluehost, HostGator, Hostinger, GoDaddy, all these hosting services, all of them provide something called WordPress hosting, managed WordPress hosting, and things like that. Most of the contractors and home service business owners that I go out and help them with their websites, the vast majority of them go to GoDaddy. And the reason for that is because GoDaddy did such a great job of marketing and advertising that that's the hosting company most contractors and home business service providers remember. And we obviously remember why, those Super Bowl commercials. But that's usually what you need to do. So step number one is just to go to visit one of these hosting services. Like I said, Bluehost, HostGator, any of these places. I've heard good things about hosting. I'm going to do some more research on them. But you go out there, go in there, and you purchase WordPress hosting. They usually all have like a 3-tier choices. Usually the middle one works out best for a home service business contractor and things like that. And most of them, when you sign up with them, they'll give you a free domain name and everything set up. So then what you do is you purchase WordPress hosting. You enter their dashboard. You go, create your account. They're going to email you and confirm that all that stuff when setting up any account these days, right? And then once you set up your account with them, you'll have administrative access to your WordPress website. And then you'll have a completely blank WordPress website ready to build whatever website that you have in mind. So that's all I wanted to share with you guys. The very, very basics things to set up a WordPress website. Try to think of WordPress as an iPhone, That's your website builder. And where you go and purchase the hosting is like your service provider. So there you go. You do all of that, you'll have your blank WordPress website ready to rock and roll. Of course, it's just a blank website. You're going to need some extra stuff, extra steps in building out a website like that. And I go through some of that with my tutorial here on how I basically built websites using WordPress and a template that I created. And you can check it out right here in this video right here. And that's all I wanted to share with you guys, just the basics of WordPress and where to begin. And you guys want my template, any of the things, any of the services I provide, they're all in the description below. That's all I got for you guys today. Until next time.